Yeah. 44 shit, you know what I mean? Busy man, busy man. Look, that shit pop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and they hit.
Show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel. I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did. Got it up the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I fed. Iceberg, he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. They mad, up and solid, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. No, they want my life, I ain't worried. I got breakthrough. I got real so chill for me, nigga. Watch it still. They say you been beast mode lately. You is not still. What you been five bitches marriage? They inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspire. Cross the line, the firing. This bitch here, feel no break the skin, no kindness. I don't trust you, circle small. You can keep your features. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. And it feel like Jesus, man. Say they want some smoke, though. So I brought these chimneys. We ain't coming like we coming. You can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we running. Don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till the end, till them do a spot. If you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch. Bless your heart, find it. I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I like I'm saying you up. I got time to kill. It's so that I survive. They don't know how I did it. Got it out the mud, straight. They don't know how I did it. He's not nice, but he don't show them skills. I show the skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel high. Focus. You might not see it on me, just know it's women that bitch fully loaded. Ooh, yeah, we up and rolling. Hey, baby Jody, got it out the dust. Not too clean, don't know why they hate me. What you want out life, dog? Guns and butter, baby boy. UPK top, dog. Certified road runner. I'ma turn that econ line into a damn tank. I got a stash in that attic like they in Frank. They had that shit on lock till I snapped on them like ball cutters. You can not play both sides, gotta choose your colors. See him throwing that one up with that W, that's my blood, bro. Fine here. I ain't show no mercy, I'm gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel. I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They know how I did. Got it out the straight to glory. They know how I did. He's nice, but he don't show the skills, how I show the skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a made. So tight, yeah, back and still. Said they want my life, I ain't work. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed all around. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down to ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he around here spin shell. Same nigga you put on to hit the standing tail. How the fuck you turn your back on a nigga that love you? Treat your kids like my kids, treat you like a brother. I told my dog, let's leave the streets to serve the most high. He said, fuck that shit, he trying to sell another pie. His daddy killed him, put him in the trunk, set him on fire. His wife was pregnant, he ain't never get to see his child. Had me thinking to myself, what happened if I die? Look my babies in the eyes, I stay alive. I put my ego on the shelf and my pride to the side. All my students gon' show they side. Got in the ISUPK, they keep asking me why. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east, pray alive. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down to ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. I keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
Never pump a pack with a snake by your side. Yes, I see a man reach out to God before he died. Yes, I did, and it's for these kids. I told my daughter, there's one man in your bed, I won't stand for left. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile legs. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember John'll try to stick me for that cheese on that bread, yeah, I was thuggin' with Lucky, that nigga let me for dead. Been doing to the end, cause I listen to one of them struggle understand. That's why I need to tell about these voices in my head.
Let's hit 100, we unaffiliated with them. Telling lies, switching up the doctrine, that's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride today. So that's why we unaffiliated with them. We unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with niggas. You can win half the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. I'm fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian, we ain't talking shit, but we living in. We be everywhere, you can't miss. And we be hell, take a picture. And we better. Now with the players, so we get nigga tripping, they blown clip for. I get the order, you know that that's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. Kill the big. The better for kingdom of heaven, you niggas get wet up. My niggas, I'm fed up. I rep you, BK. My nigga gon' let up. Got choppers, got nine. You say you won't fight with me and my nigga, like bitch, or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the dice. And that's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. I'm under command and general, no, we affiliate them. Like the doctrine, that's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all fuck with such and such? Why y'all understand me like? Niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated. Hey, hey, hey. That's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. Oh.
Let it ride real quick. Look. The city, guys. It's time to go. My God, a real nigga. Cause he want no dog. Put it on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Because that foundation falls to you fall through. They gon' look. Ain't no heart in this game, I'm just you. Older than the avalanche, way above average. Fans taste sweet, told them make me have a grip. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man. Dark sands get broke down. Ride through every hard quad, telling me how the crackers turn this child into a ghost town. Focus out, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Never like shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bet odds like tarantula. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see profits under this banner. Made my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty to handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo, spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yara down, just after State Bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember, I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
Yeah. Coach. connected. Walk in the room, it's pop, 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 like you got rejected. Let me see if you qualify or not. Spinning up in a tinted truck, riding your block. Busy man. I get a word, yeah, this shit from top to bottom like a motherfucking ceiling fan. Hopping out the rental van, on my way to LAX. Brothers out in Cali and they killers out of every set. But I ain't crippin' on the blood. One West, all my niggas got it out the mud. Put your face on a t-shirt, memory of niggas acting tough in them songs, that's with the drugs. I don't need no cases, all my pistols clean. Now I weigh my options, used to use the triple beam. Used to get the wop, mix it with the nicotine. Now I travel state to state and put on for my team.
The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. I see niggas and they feelings all feel them. Keep the Glocky with me, it was like a bow with a at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate, no, I gotta stay patient. Yeah. From the west, go to war, baby. They fuck the gossip. Front line with them soldiers, that's my posture. Gun draw, try to cut the empire. Shit out the puck, go to war with it. Make it to the featherweight. Niggas say they holiday street. Think it's time to introduce. I'm a man in a step in the room. The G in the stone over. And the killer and the problem and the short. Niggas trying to stay. Crazy, cold leader, need the blue stripes, no brick break. Can't finish, funny for jump style. Wrong, must be dummy, I ain't gun shot. That little bitch, niggas say here to go, push the foot. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. Niggas in that film, nigga get with me, it was like, be at the end, gotta stay pushing. They hate Lord, gotta stay thankful. What's the problem? Let's go to war with everybody.
I'm from Philly and get hot, catch a cold case. I'm one West, these brothers trying to see my soul straight. They done turned me to a prophet from a demon, and I'm locked in this shit and I ain't leaving. Never ski mask, transform to war mode like I'm Voltron. Stamp on my head and my chest from the most high. Put something tight around your neck like a bow tie. Got my niggas waiting charged up like they phone died.
Red letter, drip clean, it looks so fly. Claim me riding, that's why I left his ass both sides. Sky straight, but you know 9mm plus B for a 4-5. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. I see niggas and they feel him. Keep the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with it. Be at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm wrong, let's go war with everybody.
Shalom, Israel. This is Officer Naton with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been bringing out the truth that all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called lost tribes. Tonight, we're going to be holding down ISUPK Mexico Scripture Breakdown class. I'm here with none other than Officer of 50, Anashwan.
Lord Christ, Israel.
Damn right, damn right. Tonight's class topic is One Nation Under God. I know we've always heard that, but we're going to break it down. One nation under God, but divided and conquered. So that's the situation that we're in right now as a people. You understand? So-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. I know it's hard to believe, but we are one people. We've been blind to this fact for centuries now. Ever since 1492, it's probably been longer than that, but this is the most recent of our captivity. 1492, when Christopher Columbus came, commissioned by the Spanish, government, conquered our people, the native indigenous people, and at the same time, they were bringing our so-called black brothers, the Judites, Levites, and Benjamites, if I don't have that incorrect, over to the Americas as well. Okay, so for centuries, we've been blinded to who we are. You understand? And in Deuteronomy 28 of the Old Testament, it says, because we sinned against the Most High, we will be cursed with not knowing our own identity and our heritage. We'd be scattered across the earth and serve gods that neither we nor our ancestors have known. You understand? So that's what we're dealing with right now. That's what it has been until 1969, when we started to get that truth again. We would be divided and conquered, utterly destroyed by our oppressors. And the curses in Deuteronomy describe the enslavement, exploitation, the indoctrination that the 12 tribes would suffer. You understand? So this is important. It's an important thing to identify. It's an important identifying marker, more specifically, as to who are the true Israelites. So through biblical, historical, archaeological, and cultural, even cultural evidence, the ISPK has proven the only people who fit those descriptions are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? So if you would like a detailed breakdown of that, of all of those findings, I know Captain Kataza has done a 12-tribe breakdown lecture. He's done that a few years ago, and he actually just did recently a renewed one with more information, more sources, updated information, etc. So you can find that stuff. It's available on YouTube, pretty much all social media sites. I'm pretty sure you can go to find it on Cross the Line Radio or any other site. And, if you have any questions, actually, you could even message ISUPK Mexico, and we'll try to get that directly to you. We'll try to send that link directly to you. You understand? So now what's happening is, since 1969, that veil has been lifted. We're starting to learn what our culture is again, and who we truly are. You understand? We're starting to learn that we are actually the people of this Bible, and we can study our history now. We can identify our allies. We can identify our enemies, right? We can start to learn, like I said, who we are again. You understand? Most importantly, we get to read this Bible and we get to learn how to govern ourselves again, right? So we could break free from the slavery that we're in, the current condition of servitude, because that's really what's going on. We're still in captivity, right? We're still being oppressed as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans on every goddamn level. We're still being oppressed. Look what just happened to the young brother that was 14 who got, chased down by a Chinese store owner, corner store owner, a gas station owner, and shot down for supposedly a bottle of water. Now, I haven't got all the information yet, but it sounds like he didn't even steal anything. They just thought he stole something because he had his hands in his pocket, and they chased the brother down. And come to find out, him having a gun is the reason why he was scared and why he ran. And through the process of running, he dropped the gun. They used as an excuse to say that he pointed at them. They shot the brother in his back. Simple as that. So how could he be threatening to you or being an aggressive body language or an aggressive manner threatening you if you're shooting him in his back. He was turned away from you. So, you know, the fact of the matter is that's what's been happening. We're being shot down in the streets like goddamn dogs. All this year and last year, we've been being persecuted and hunted down in the streets, so-called Hispanics have, by ICE agents. We can't go to school. We can't go to the grocery store. We can't go to work. We can't seem to be able to exist in this land without being hunted down like animals. You know, the scriptures say that we will be pursued and they will hunt our steps. That's what the scriptures say, that our oppressors will hunt our steps. And that's what's been happening since these goddamn savages landed on this in our land since 1492. That's what we've been dealing with. And what happened is now the in 2026, the history is repeating itself. I mean, look at what's it called? Donald Trump, what he's trying to do with birthright citizenship. First of all, he started to get rid of the natural process of immigration, right? He just basically said, even if you're here legally trying to get your green card, you still have to leave. Normally, you'd be able to stay here for asylum and throughout that process of trying to get your citizenship or even just temporary residency, right? Because you're fleeing some type of war zone or some type of situation like that. Normally, you'd be able to stay here throughout the process. And that's still true, but it's not true for us. You know who it's true for? It's true for those goddamn thousands of white South Africans that he just approved a second group of these damn heathens to come to America. So in the midst of all of that hatred towards the blacks and Hispanics, or more specifically the Hispanics migration, he also was letting in white South Africans, and he just did it again. And like I said, just last week, he just said that, they're trying to pass a law where even if you're legally going through the immigration process, you still got to wait in your homeland to see if it's proven, right? And that's just another tactic to get you up out of here, and they're just going to deny you anyway. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with, man. But like I said, most importantly right now, what we got to be doing is learning our identity again. We got to learn how to, read this Bible again. We got to learn how to govern ourselves again so we can break free from the slavery, so we can break free from, this oppression, the rulership of these people over us. We got to learn how to rule ourselves again, how to govern ourselves, and more specifically, how to gain our kingdom back under the Most High. The Bible has been used against us throughout history, right? But it is time that we take back what is ours. That's what we're trying to do now. That's what we've been doing since 1969 in the ISUPK underneath Commanding General Yohana. We're trying to take back what is ours. It's time that we take accountability first, how we ended up in this situation in the first place. The Bible teaches us how to come out of this condition and regain our position under God, right? But unfortunately, Israel's a stick-necked people, right? We're stubborn, man. We don't want to hear the truth. We don't want to hear what's right. We want to be able to continue to do what we want to do, which is sin, and it be condoned, it be praised, it be, everyone turn another cheek to it. We don't want to deal with our God. Look what the Israelites did at Mount Sinai when what's his name? When Moses went up to the mountain to pray to God, I think it was like for 40 days or something like that. And he told the nation of Israel to wait for him. And, we couldn't even wait, man. We wanted to, we said, man, look, we're not waiting for this guy no more. We're going to make ourselves a golden calf. Everyone get your jewelry together, right? Like this gold chain I got on. Everyone get this jewelry we got. Put it together. We're going to melt it. And we're going to make ourselves a golden calf. And we're going to pray and sacrifice and make this golden calf our God. Something they created with their own hands. A piece of metal, right? So that's how stubborn we are. That's how stiff-necked we are you know, and unfortunately, it's still the same thing now in 2026. Now, with just like any good father, when you disobey, what's he gonna do? He's gonna punish you, man. He's gonna utterly destroy you, break you down, so you can then hopefully realize where you've gone wrong and try to repent, which means to actually change that behavior. You understand? You know, before you can seek forgiveness, you got to actually start to change. You know, this isn't the Christian church. This isn't your Catholic, you know, organization where you can say 10 Hail Marys and you're somehow forgiven. And then we just go back to doing the regular business. That's not what we do here. In the ISUPK, you're held to a higher standard. You understand? You know, and like I said, unfortunately, it's not an easy job, man. It's not an easy job. Throughout our history, there's also been a lot of fighting between the tribes, right? And these other nations have used that to their advantage. In 2026, those same tactics are waged against us to this day. We're fighting over scraps, man. We're on the bottom of society in every goddamn city, in every state. Damn near a lot of different nations. It's not just America. It's the UK. It's the Caribbeans. You name it, man. You know, we're on the bottom of society's ladder, that economic ladder, right? The caste system that the Spaniards created back in the 1500s is still affecting our people to this day. And unfortunately, that in-house fighting is what is destroying us. The fact of the matter is that if they could divide us and pit us against one another, well, then obviously it's going to be easier to overcome the our people. So like I said, these same tactics are being waged against us to keep us separate from our fellow tribes and constantly fighting each other. Really, all we're trying to do is just survive, right? But the fact of the matter is we lost touch of who we are. So what happened is we don't know who our allies are anymore. We don't know that the people that are suffering with us, these Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that are suffering right alongside of us are actually our brothers, man, and our sisters. They're actually part of the same nation that we belong to, which obviously, if you actually came to the ISUPK, got in class, you'll be taught the truth about the Bible. You'll be taught that, like I said, in Deuteronomy, those identifying markers are what describe the people of Israel. And there's no other people on the planet Earth other than so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who fit those curses, man, who've been shipped on, shipped to a new land and being enslaved, right? You know, and so many other identifying markers, right? You know, there's oral history, stuff like that. And like I said, man, we're just right now, we're lost and we're ignorant to that. So what we're trying to do is bring that back to the forefront, allow our people to understand that we are the same people, irregardless of the fact that we are always fighting each other. I'd rather fight. Now, we shouldn't be fighting at all, but I'd rather fight my own people because at least I know my brother isn't going to utterly destroy me. You know, that's the difference between the slavery that we're in now and the fighting that we used to do back in the day when our tribes used to go to war with each other, right? We didn't try to take our identity from each other. We didn't wipe out your culture. We didn't stop you from being an Israelite. We didn't stop you from being a Judite or an Issacharite or a Benjamite. We didn't stop you from following the law, statutes, and commandments. We didn't force you to then sin against God and destroy yourselves. That's not what we did, right? We did fight. And as a result of that fighting, someone lost, someone won. Then that determined who the ruler was. And then we all came back together serving the Most High God. That's how that went, man. You know what I'm saying? But now what's happening is because we don't know who we actually are, that fighting is causing generational trauma. It's causing, us not being able to forget about the pain that we've caused. You know, to this day, man, Blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, man, we have been taught to utterly hate each other. We are unaliving each other. There's gangs that are intentionally target the opposite races. We're completely segregated in our communities. We are just really our own entities, and we're suffering on our own at the same time, suffering the same conditions of these other tribes. So what we're trying to do in the ISUPK is educate our brothers and sisters. Let them know that there's a history that actually talks about us being together, us actually fighting for each other, us actually growing together, ruling together, having a kingdom of heaven, is ours. That's ours. That's our promise. You understand? Let me get that. Let me get Jeremiah 17:4, Baba Kasha. So that's what we're trying to hit. We're trying to help our brothers and sisters understand now that this stuff has been happening. It's happening now, and it's going to continue to happen unless we start to wake the hell up and change the way we look at our brother and sister, man. We got to stop suffering from colorism. We got to stop suffering from, miseducation and the indoctrination of the American society and the American education system. We're taught in the American education system that we're totally different people. We're taught that, we're meant to hate each other, and that we were at war with each other. But they're not telling you when we were allies. They don't tell you when the Mexicans, created safe havens for Black Americans, Black enslaved Americans to escape to Mexico to seek freedom. They don't tell you about when the Native Americans were protecting the Black slaves. They would come to their land. So when they were able to escape to Native American, settlements, the Blacks. Go ahead, you got that?
Khan out of one Khan.
Go
This
ahead.
is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse what, sir? Salakia.
4.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
So this is the Most High letting you know what's going to happen when we sin against him. And because we sinned against him so greatly, he's going to turn against us, and he's going to make us lose our culture. He's going to make us stop practicing our heritage again. We're not gonna know who we are. We're gonna go into a foreign land, and we're gonna be, brainwashed into, just utterly destroyed, man. Utterly destroyed. Continue.
Khan out of one Khan. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
In the land that thou knowest not. Before Native Americans came here, this land was uninhabited. You understand? Like nobody lived here before, right? And white society wants you to believe that, Native Americans come from Asian descent. They walked across a ice bridge known as the Bering Strait, and they came and inhabited this land. And that's just it's a lie. That's been disproven again by a scholar in the ISUPK named Captain Kataza. And it's also commonly known throughout the rest of the world that doesn't have a racist agenda towards the people in this land. They had to make these things up, right? What is it called? The I forgot what the name of it is. Divine something. But basically they were trying to say, which is all throughout Spanish law, that, God allowed them to conquer the native indigenous of this land. That because we were savages, quote unquote savages,
Divine retribution? Salakia. Divine retribution?
No.
Like that.
It's a doctrine of something. Captain Tazariak talks about it all the time. It's
manifest destiny.
Manifest destiny. There we go. The doctrine of manifest destiny is, why they created all of this false information. These misinformation, tactics used to, lie about our origin. They don't want to tell you that we're the people who came from Jerusalem. They don't want to tell you that we're God's chosen people because, the world says they love God. You know, even in the 1500s, you know, all of those nations claimed to be Christians and Catholics and serving the Most High God and our King Yahushua, who the world ignorantly knows as Jesus Christ. You know, that's who these nations claim to serve. In reality, they knew exactly who they were persecuting. They know exactly who they were enslaving. In Christopher Columbus's diary, it talks about him knowing and finding of the New World through the scriptures. Because at that time, the world only knew about 6 major continents, 6 land masses on the earth. They didn't know that there was another landmass all the way to the west, which was America. You know, the modern term called America. So through the Bible, through the scriptures, he identified that there was another land, and he believed that that's where the so-called lost tribes traveled to. And how do you confirm that? Even in his own diaries, he talked about bringing a translator with him. And out of all the languages that this translator spoke, the translator spoke Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, right? So when he encountered the Taino Indians, this is all throughout historical information. Like I said, this stuff isn't something we're just making up. We're not waking up one day and just creating our own books and information. This stuff could be backed not only biblically, historically, archaeologically, but also through cultural evidence as well. You know, so like I said, in his own diaries, he talks about encountering those Taino Indians and them speaking fluent Hebrew. That's how they were able to communicate. How else would they be able to communicate with these goddamn Indians who are speaking this savage language as far as they tell it, right? Well, the fact of the matter is we were the far distinct from savages. You know, we followed cleanliness laws, dietary laws. We bathed, man. You know what I'm saying? We smelled good. They thought we were witches because we smelled so goddamn good, right? Because they didn't bathe. You understand? You know, so that's just who we're dealing with, man. These people have been lying from the beginning of time, and that's why we call them the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of, because devil in the Hebrew just means deceiver. They're the greatest deceiver, the greatest liar on the planet Earth, and in 2026, they continue to deceive us, which has us attacking and at each other's necks, man. We are completely, utterly destroyed to the point where not only are we fighting each other, but we don't want to face the truth. We don't want to face the reality. We're constantly looking for escapes to be able to, you know, avoid facing the condition that we're in and and realizing the reason why we're here. We'd rather stay into captivity. Just again, for another example, when Israel was leaving Egypt and going into the wilderness for 40 years, man, you had a lot of the nation that were like, man, hold on, man. We're tired of eating this manna. We're tired of eating this stuff off the grass. Send us back to Egypt, because at least in Egypt we had meats. So they were willing to go back into captivity because they wanted to eat good, man. They're like, man, look, we ain't trying to suffer out here for 40 years or for however long it's going to take until we make it to our own land. You know, it sounds good. You said it's the land of milk and honey, but right now we starving, man. We tired of eating this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We thirsty, right? And that's just who our people have always been, unfortunately, man. And then to this day, we rather stay destroyed. We rather stay lost. We rather stay on the bottom than to have to address the fact that we are the chosen people, which means that we're held to a higher standard, which means that there's laws, statutes, and commandments that govern our people, and we refuse to want to deal with that, right? You know, so unfortunately, that's what it is. Hey, Nashwan.
Yeah.
While you're not speaking, I need you to put your mic on mute, because I'm hearing myself through your screen. The water. Okay, so you know, that's what we're dealing with right now. You know, and until we start to take accountability and realize it's going to take us and only us to get us out of this condition, first you're gonna have to realize that this isn't okay, man. You're gonna have to want something better than this. And for us to get anything better than what we're having right now, we're gonna have to gain a moral compass. We're gonna have to gain some righteous principles. We're gonna have to gain some order and some decency, and which means we got to be obedient to our God. The Most High says if you're hot or cold, he rather that you be hot or cold, because lukewarm, he's going to spit you out of his mouth. He don't want nobody half-stepping. If you think you're going to get blessed and somehow you're going to gain some type of freedom by doing half of the work, you're mistaken. You're highly mistaken. And he's going to show you by keeping you in the condition that you're in. So for us to come out of this condition that we're in, we're going to have to come back to our identity. We're going to have to be obedient to the Most High, which means follow those law, statutes, and commandments. And most importantly, we're going to have to learn how to love our brothers again. We're going to have to forgive each other for being so goddamn utterly destroyed and constantly, projecting that pain onto each other. We've been conditioned to be this way. This isn't something that we just done. Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are the most hospitable, loving, and forgiving people on the goddamn planet. Look what happens when these oppressors unalive us. The first thing we say is, oh, we forgive them. God wants us to forgive them. But for some reason, we can't forgive our own Black, Hispanic, and Native American people, the people that are suffering on the bottom. You know why that is? Because we envy these people. We see that they have the things that we want. They have the riches, the freedom. They're not persecuted. They get to live unlawfully and be good. It ain't no problem, right? And we want that. We want exactly that. We want to not have to follow any laws and to live a good life being a sinner. And that's why we envy these people. So we're like, man, look, whatever we got to do for them to love us so we can get some of whatever they got, that's what we're going to do. Well, that's not how we were made, man. The Most High made us in his image. We don't get to take those shortcuts. We don't get to run from our purpose, man. It's either we do it or we don't. And if we don't, we're going to continue to be destroyed. Is there any more on that?
Khan. Khan.
Read it from the top, Baba Kasha.
Khan. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Man, the Most High said it's going to burn forever, man. It's going to burn forever because he's just not going to accept anything less from his children. And you know what? I think I got the same spirit of Most High because I'm not accepting nothing less from mine. And that's just right. That's just natural. Any real righteous man, any real leader is not going to allow the people that he's leading to stray off of the track. And then just it'd be okay. Then what type of person would he be if he allowed that type of performance to exist? Some substandards condition to continue. That's not what he created us for. That's not what he created the earth for. He created the earth for it to be our kingdom. He didn't create the earth for these goddamn oppressors to rule over us. But that's what's going to continue to happen because we constantly fighting each other, man. We can't see past, the horizon. We can't open our eyes to the fact that all of these other nations are succeeding and flourishing because they love their own. That's why they're at the top of the goddamn ladder. That's why they're ruling these the nations. Take it the fake Jewish man, right? The one who stole our identity. He's over there in Israel massacring some Arabs because they stick together. And they're not going to let nobody tell them anything different. They're going to do what's best for them when we should be doing what's best for us. Like I was just talking about earlier with the young brother who got unalived for, supposedly allegedly taking a bottle of water. Now you having a lot of, of our black brothers and sisters wanting to boycott these Asians. That's very admirable. That's exactly what we should be doing. Let's stop putting our resources and our goddamn blood, sweat, and tears in these other people's pockets to benefit them, and let's start benefiting our own people. We're the ones that's cooking that stuff anyway, man. If you go to goddamn what's that fucking thing, Panda Express, all of these goddamn Chinese buffets and stuff like that, man, it's Mexicans back there cooking that food. It is. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is look up a recipe and you'll be able to know how to cook some chicken fried rice. You know what I'm saying? So you can get your own weave, man. You can get your own, you know, whatever it is, clothing, whatever it is you think these people may provide, we can get it ourselves. But we're going to have to suffer with each other for a little while because it's not going to be perfect. Right? We've been way behind the ball. These people have had generations ahead of us establishing businesses and different, you know, organizations. And they've had that head start above us, ahead of us. So we're going to have to suffer a little bit of, you know, being behind the ball sometimes. It's not going to be perfect. Customer service might not be the best. Our brothers and sisters might not always smile when you're buying something from them. They might not always give you the best price. Support them anyway. Suffer your brothers and sisters. That's what's going to bring us out of this condition that we're in. That's what's going to allow us to gain the kingdom of heaven again, is when we start to put each other first. When we are able to suffer for our brothers and sisters. It's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be. We don't deserve it to be easy. We're the reason why we're in this position right now. But the Most High sees that these goddamn oppressors took it way too far. They were never supposed to utterly destroy us and take our identity from us. They were supposed to just, you know, enslave us, whoop us, you know, whoop our behind a bit, and then that'd be it. No, these people, once they got a hold of us, they never let us go. To this day, we are forced to live with these goddamn people who captured and killed our ancestors still ruling over us. But because we have a good job, a nice credit score, a car note, and a passport, somehow we're free and we're content with that. We're content with living underneath our captor's foot. But when the resources are being, you know, siphoned into our communities, which means we get a little bit at a time, they'll give a little bit to them and a little bit to them. We fighting each other. We mad at each other. Those are all part of the tactics used against us. Drop that. Let me get Exodus chapter 1, verse 9. You know, this is going to tell us what type of people we're dealing with. This is going to allow us to understand where our enemy's mind is at when it comes to the 12 tribes of Israel. So-called Negroes, so-called Haitians, so-called Jamaicans, so-called Mexicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Venezuelans, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. These are all the 12 tribes of Israel, man. And these people have dealt with us in the same goddamn way. You got that?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Continue. This is the heathens. This is the heathens talking about us, the children of Israel. Continue.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Let us what?
Let us deal wisely with them.
They're going to deal with us in a cunning manner. They're going to use strategy against us. There's think tanks that happen every year around the world where these people sit down together and they come up and strategize with plans on how to destroy us. Look what's happening in the music industry. When hip hop first started, you know, there was all type of, you know, revolutionary rap, uplifting music for our people, strengthening us up. But to this day, none of that exists anymore. It's all about killing each other, stealing from each other, unaliving each other, sleeping with our brothers' ribs, women being, LGBTQ, dressing like whores. This is what this music promotes in our community. And unfortunately, our people, all they want to do is get out of poverty, so they continue making it because that's the only thing that sells. Because yet again, we love that stuff, man. We glorify that stuff. We don't want to look ourselves in the mirror and say, "Hey, look, we're the cause of our own problems, and until we become our own solution, we're going to continue to suffer this." You want to hear some real gangster music? Go to Tribe Vibes. Go to your app store, your Google Play. Go to Tribe Vibes. TRIBEVIBEZ. Tribe Vibes. All of that is Hebrew Israelite music, produced and created in the ISUPK. And I tell you what, man, it's the most gangsterous music you ever gonna hear, and it's righteous. It's biblical. That's what that music is. But what's happening in our communities, we get all type of self-destructive music promoted. We get Sexy Reds and Blueface. You know what I'm saying? That's what we get. Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Pooh Shiesty. That's what we get. That's what we get to glorify. That's what we get to listen to. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of, rap music, gangster music. But when it's promoted to destroy our communities, assisting the prison, population, then that's a problem. That's just as bad as smoking weed or doing drugs. You killing yourself with that music, man. It's the same thing with our educational systems. In 2026, man, it's ugly. Especially after what happened with the pandemic and all the virtual learning stuff. First and foremost, we've already been learning garbage. It's all a lie. It's anything that promotes white supremacy. But now even those standards have lowered. You understand? So it's going to take us to govern ourselves again. It's going to take us to build our own schools. And the ISUPK, we got a sister named Tazamak, Salaki if I'm butchering that, but Tazamak homeschooling. You know what I'm saying? We got doctors, we got lawyers, we got teachers, we got engineers, tradesmen. You know what I'm saying? So, we're building ourselves up in the ISUPK. Same thing with our our food, the agriculture, the animals. Everything that they provide us is poisoned. There's a grocery store and gas station 2 to 3 to a block in the goddamn hood, man. Every time I walk out the door, you can't even hit a corner without hitting the grocery store, selling junk food, selling blunts. A liquor store right next to that. You got to drive a mile just to get to a half decent grocery store. And even everything in there is all poison, genetically modified. Pesticides and everything else that's causing cancer, autism, mental disease, all type of sicknesses. This is the stuff that we're stuck with. It's because we're in the goddamn hell, man. That's what hell is. Hell is a condition. But as a Black, Hispanic, and Native American, when you walk outside, who do you see in that hell with you? Who do you see on the public transportation? You see other Blacks and Hispanics. Who do you see in the public aid lines? You see Blacks and Hispanics. Who do you see in the goddamn jails, in the prisons, Blacks and Hispanics? You got something? You know what I'm saying? So this is the people that are suffering with you, and we're so goddamn busy looking for an escape So we don't have to correct anything. And we want to unalive each other on top of that. We want to continue to hate each other. We're so busy running from the truth, and on top of that, we want to fight each other at the same time. We're going to continue to be in this place, man. That's why the topic says one nation under God, because that's who we are. We're the only people that God loves. We're the chosen people. It says in the scripture, everyone else is spittle. He doesn't care about them. He doesn't care about the other people that came from Adam. All he cares about is the Israelites, man. Go ahead, continue with that.
Khan. Salakia. Salakia. Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us.
That's what these people are worried about, man. That's the most terrifying thing to the goddamn white man, is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming together. Because divided, they know they could handle us easily. You know, the white man is blessed with the sword. These people got so many goddamn guns, it's insane. You know, we're not supposed to be fighting a carnal war. But when blacks, Hispanics, and Native American comes together, we're a force to be reckoned with. We do have the right to defend ourselves. So says the Most High. How are we going to defend ourselves if we're busy getting high? Can't even think straight. How are we going to defend ourselves if all of our warriors are locked up in jail? If all of our great men are dead and in the ground? How the hell are we going to defend ourselves? How? How are we going to protect our women? How are we going to protect our children if we're constantly killing each other, unaliving each other? It's impossible. That's what they're worried about, though. That's why they put so many resources into keeping us destroyed. Pushing drugs into our communities. We don't create these drugs. We don't have poppy plants and coca leaves in our goddamn communities. We're not driving to goddamn flying to Colombia. This is what's being manufactured and pushed into our communities. Weaponry coming in on freight trains, being dropped off in crates. This is happening to this day. How the hell these goddamn young brothers got weaponry like a military, but damn sure don't have no gun training. Can't hit nothing except the old lady sitting in our front you watching TV, or the little kid riding on his bike. Because we let our emotions dictate our decision making. We got to learn how to be men again. We got to learn how to have some emotional discipline. We got to use wisdom. When we're offended by our brother, another black, Hispanic, and Native American man, we got to go talk to that brother. As hard as it may be, we got to have a conversation. We got to dead that. But y'all don't want to push peace, though. We're not talking about peace. We're talking about surviving. We're talking about ruling over our nations again so our women can stop being SA'd and abused. So our kids can stop being molested. So our fathers and brothers can stop being drug addicts. So we got to watch them be destroyed and rot away. When is enough going to be enough? Is that all on that?
Khan out of one Khan.
All right, let me get the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20.
Khan out of one Khan. This is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. New Salakia. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people.
This people is talking about us. These are our enemies again. Go ahead. Continue.
Khan out of one Khan. And they sin against their God.
And we do what?
And they sin against their God.
Continue.
Kanadawankan. Let us consider that Salakia. Let us consider that this
Read it
shall
again.
be
Read
their
it again from
ruin.
the top.
Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
So
And
they let us consider that this shall be their ruin. If there be any error and these people sin against their God, let us consider that this be their ruin. So they understand if they could get us to sin against the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, then the Most High is going to be against us. That it's going to be our ruin. So what do? They push pork. They push crab, shrimp, lobster, and everything. I mean, you got pork. You got some type of pork, in every goddamn food you can imagine. You got something?
Yeah, Khan. Not only that, they're giving you sinful foods. Not only that, but they're giving you generic foods.
Right.
The food that you can eat isn't even good. So, chicken, boom, it's white. It's not supposed to be like that. It's going to be pink or reddish. That's the blood that's in the chicken.
Right.
So that's how you know which one is good or bad. And in all grocery stores, I guarantee you that chicken is white.
Damn right.
And I guarantee you with the steaks, the same thing. They put red food coloring in it to make it seem like it's good. But in reality, it's probably been sitting on the shelves for probably like 30 days, 60 days, something like that. And they feed that to you.
Damn
with
right.
that ayut.
And that's why they're the devil that the Bible speaks of, because everything they do is a deception. Everything they do is a deception. And they know if they could deceive us into sinning against our God, that it's going to be our ruin. If they could trick us into being homosexuals and a part of the LGBT community, it's going to be our ruin. If they could teach us to be drug addicts, which now they legalize marijuana, so now you got even more people smoking marijuana because it's legal. It's not a crime no more. We could smoke, it's legal. Right? So now even more of our people are destroyed. And before long, the weed isn't going to be enough. So they're going to go and start popping pills because weed doesn't get them high no more. So they're going to get addicted to opiates. And then when the pills aren't enough, they're going to become heroin addicts. And when the heroin's not enough, they're going to become crack addicts and meth addicts. And before you know it, they're just going to be a goddamn empty shell of what a person used to be, walking around like a goddamn zombie, not considering or caring for anything other than their own high and addiction. We see this all the time in Black Hispanic communities and Native American communities. So obviously what they're talking about is working. It has been our ruin because our most high God has turned from us because he's given us over to our evil vices, to the things that we want. Continue with that scripture, Baba Kasha.
Khan. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's why we're in captivity right now. That's why we've been enslaved for almost 600 years now, since 1492, man. And we've been suffering this together since the beginning. We've been suffering this together. Have you had enough yet, Black, Hispanic, or Native American man? Have you had enough weed that you want to gain your dignity again? That you want to gain your freedom again? Have you had enough sleeping with whores that you want to rule over yourself again and you want to make sure your daughters marry righteous men and aren't passed around Like you passed around many women? Don't get me wrong. I've been in the world. You know, if you weren't born into the ISUPK, you came from the world, man. We've all made mistakes, but there comes a time where a man must take account for those mistakes, and he must change those things and take responsibility for his future and the future of his people. That's what we do in the ISUPK. We take responsibility for our people. We choose to raise our people up from the goddamn dust. And that means whatever it takes, we're willing to suffer with our people through it. If you're a drug addict, we got drug counseling for you. If you're homeless, we have home programs, food programs, clothing programs, prison programs, marriage counseling. The brothers in the ISUPK, we're 100% self-funded, man. If a brother in here is struggling, other brothers will provide. I see it every single day. I've never seen that anywhere in my life. And it's not something that people are taking tallies of so then they could get their payback so then you can repay them. It's given freely. That's the type of brotherhood that's found in the ISUPK. If a brother's short on a bill, we're going to help him get it. If he got a flat tire at 2 a.m, we're going to ride out and go and fix that tire for him. If he needs defense and protection, brothers will show up and put their lives on the line for each other. They ain't going to do that for you in the Christian church, man. They're going to try to sleep with your wife. In the Catholic church, they're going to try to molest your children. Anything else on that?
Another one. Well, if you want to go on to verse 21, sir.
Yeah, go to verse 21.
Another one, verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them.
Come on,
and
man.
their God. Oh, Salaki.
Come on, man. If there be no iniquity in them, if we ain't fucking up, if we ain't sinning, man, leave them people alone. That's what he's saying. If these people are on top of their stuff, if they're following that moral compass, if they're sticking to the blueprint of the Bible, following the law, statutes, and commandments, man, we better leave them people alone. Because what did it say? At least their God get up with us. Read that part again.
Another one, But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
Listen, man, before our God defends us, and they become a reproach, which means they're going to be an example before the whole world, like, man, don't mess with them Israelites. When them Israelites are following the law, statutes, and commandments, and they're ruling according to the scriptures, stay out of their way, because their God will defend them. It's time for us to be defended by the Most High again. It's time for us to come into the protection and the grace of our Lord one more time. This time we need to get it right. That's what we're doing in the ISUPK. That's what the hope is. That's why we put this work in, because we just want our Lord to free us one more time. Give us our kingdom one more time. I know we've been hard-headed, God. I know we strayed off the track, Most High. But give us one more chance so we can show not only ourselves, but the world what it means to be your people. What it means to rule righteously. What it means to be masculine, honorable. Men of war. That's what we want. And if you're in the world and all you're doing is caring about yourself, man, you weak. Because you have a duty to do these things for your people. You have a duty to protect your people, provide for your people, uplift your people, educate your people, lead your people. You're not going to be able to do that in the world. You can't even lead yourself. You can't stop getting high. You can't stop chasing women. You damn sure can't do it in the Christian church because they're going to make you a borderline homosexual. You're not going to be able to do it, man, unless you come into the law, statutes, and commandments. The only place you're going to learn the Bible for real is in the ISUPK. There's no falsehood here. We're not pandering to your emotions. We're not giving you that feel-good scripture sermon so you can feel good about being a piece of shit so you can give us some money. We don't want your goddamn money. We want your soul because that's what the Most High demands because he created you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. He made us one people. He said to love our brother like we love ourselves. And what it means to love our brother like we love ourselves is mean we got to make sure that we survive because that's what we're going to do for ourselves. We're not going to just willingly and knowingly give up our lives. We're going to make sure we breathe and we survive the next day to the best of our ability. So that's what we're supposed to be doing for our brothers, man, our sisters, making sure they survive. There's no way we're going to be able to survive if we're constantly shot down in the street like dogs by all these goddamn oppressors. If we're dying by the thousands from drug overdoses, how are we supposed to survive? So just like you don't want to die over drugs overdose, you should make sure your brother don't die over drug overdose. That's what it means to love your brother as yourself. Continue.
Khan, verse 22. Salaki, do you want to go on to verse 22?
That was it? All of 21?
Khan.
All right, drop that. Go to Mark 3 and 24, Baba Kasha. We got to understand, man, it's up to us to come together to fix ourselves. Stop looking to these other nations. The scriptures say, thine eye has looked for a nation that will not save thee. America is not going to save you. Having a high-paying job is not going to save you. What the world thinks is a high-value man is not going to profit you. The scriptures say, what does it profit a man to gain the world but to lose his soul? Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, you can't give your soul to this place, which means you can't celebrate Christmas. You can't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can't celebrate Lent and pray to the Mother Mary. You can't celebrate your birthdays, man. You can't follow after these Christian pastors who constantly lied to you for generations, which is why our communities are still destroyed. You can't follow after these Catholic priests who've done nothing but exploit you and lie to you and abuse you. You got that?
Khan. This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself.
That's what we're supposed to be. A kingdom. A nation of Israel. Continue.
Khan. That kingdom cannot stand.
Read that from the top.
Khan. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Continue.
Khan, verse 25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
If we fight in our own people, man, there's no way we're going to be able to stand up against our enemies. If we don't have rulership over our own kingdom, we're not going to have it. We're not going to be able to defend ourselves. A kingdom divided upon itself will not stand. A house divided upon itself will not stand. Our men of war fight each other and not the oppressor. A white boy can walk through your neighborhood and call you chimps and nothing happens to him. But let another Black, Hispanic, or Native American man step on your shoe. You're going to go to jail to try to unalive him. Let him look at you wrong. Say the wrong thing. You're going to risk everything to try to die for your respect. That's the motto in our communities. I'm going to die for my respect. But you ain't going to die when a white man disrespects you, when a Chinese man disrespects you, when an Arab disrespects you, when they exploit you and rob you in their own grocery stores, slut out your women, your daughters. You ain't going to die for that respect. Drop that. Let's get the last scripture, Zephaniah 2:1. And we'll end on that. A nation under God, divided and conquered. We can't be divided no more. We got to come together. That's how we come underneath our conquerors. Come up from underneath our conquerors. That's how we conquer them. The scriptures say those who bringeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Well, when is it our turn to bring these goddamn heathens into captivity, man? It ain't going to happen unless you're men of war. You got something?
I just wanted to say to answer that question real quick. When Yahweh Shah comes back, sir. But I got the scripture, sir.
Damn right. When our king comes back. But there's only one way he's going to come back. And the scriptures say that's when all the tribes come together on one accord. We have to be one body, one house, one accord. Can't be a bunch of fake Israelite groups. Can't be a bunch of Christian denominations. Can't be a bunch of Catholic denominations. God doesn't honor that type of division. The scriptures say to lean not onto your own understanding. Stop thinking you can tell the God of the Bible what his word says, what you think is should be honored. Oh, God's a God of love, and we should all love each other and hold hands. That's not what the Most High God said. That's not what He said. He said, "Love thy brother." He said, "Hate the way of the heathen, man." That's what He says. Utterly destroy these people. When we were going into Jerusalem, when we were leaving Egypt and going into Jerusalem, He said to wipe those people out, those other nations out, man. He said kill their men, their women, kill the kids. He said kill the animals. Don't keep any of it. Raise it to the ground. That's the God of the Bible. He don't want you to have nothing to do with these goddamn wicked heathens, man. With these savages and cavemen. Because they don't have any morals. They don't have the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what we have. That's what required of us. Go ahead. You got that?
Khan Adamun Khan. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
It doesn't say you go into this Christian group, you go into that Muslim group, you go into this goddamn Catholic group, you be in that fake Israelite group. It doesn't say everyone go into their own corner and somehow have your own way to the Most High. The scriptures say there's only one way to the Most High, and that's through Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly knows as Jesus Christ. One way. How the hell you all got your own different beliefs and own different set of rules for each denomination, and you think everybody's going to make it? There's 4 billion goddamn Christians and Catholics on the planet Earth, and all of y'all are going to make it into the kingdom of heaven, huh? That's what you telling me? I thought the way was thin or small, and the way to destruction was wide and broad. How is that if it's 4 billion goddamn Christians and Catholics and y'all all supposed to make it to heaven? Come on, man. There's no way in hell the Most High, who is perfect and pure, is going to side with child molesters in the Catholic Church. There's no way he's going to side with homosexuals in the Christian church. It's not going to happen. And anyone else that's not obeying the law, statutes, and commandments, you're not going to make it, man. That's what we're out here trying to do. We're trying to teach you how to get salvation again. The scriptures say, "O nation not desired." Who is that nation not desired? Who else is not desired throughout the planet? No matter where you go, black people are despised. No matter where you go, Hispanics are exploited and taken advantage of. No matter where you go, Native Americans are forgotten. That's the nation not desired. And he says, until we come together, man, we're going to continue to be in hell. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We got to come together, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Put your goddamn pride to the side and extinguish. Put out that goddamn ego, like you know what you're talking about. Your family has been destroyed for generations. What you think's going to happen to you? It's going to take strong men, obedient men, honorable men to lead us out of this condition that we're in. You don't get taught that in the world. You get taught how to be a goddamn selfish sexual deviant who ain't got no control over your rod. No ability to lead, no wisdom. You think because you go to school and you get a college degree or you get a high-paying job or you educate yourself on financial literacy that you somehow a leader of our people? You a goddamn fool. The Most High don't care about no money. He don't care about how much money you make. Our King Yahushua was homeless, man. No income. Wandering the ghettos, building up his people. He didn't need no college degree. He didn't need money, riches, status, fame. He needed the Most High. That's it. And that's all we need. If you want to get, a part of this, man, this revolution, become a part of this goddamn brotherhood, go to isupk.com, find the school nearest you, call one of the classes, type in the comments. We'll get you a phone number to call. If you need counseling, all you got to do is come into class. If you want to learn, you don't got to be a priest. You don't got to teach. Just come to learn. Come get this truth. We'll respect that as well. With that being said, you got anything you want to bring out?
Sir.
My name is Officer Naton Mouth. This is ISUPK Mexico Scripture Breakdown class. I'll see you all next week, next Thursday, same time. Shalom, Israel.